Hello, I'm Shay, and today we'll be speaking about strategic management in dynamic environments. The goal of strategic management is to incorporate vision, mission, and long-term goals into the execution of short-term initiatives and plans that will make a business successful. It involves anticipating threats and minimizing the risks associated with doing business in dynamic, ever-changing environments through careful planning and the evaluation of progress. An effective corporate strategy can help guarantee organizational growth and increased shareholder value. Using strategic planning tools can help business leaders focus their strategy, justify projects and initiatives, and measure progress more effectively. Assuring that your company strategy is focused on your overall vision and purpose is especially important when faced with dynamic, disruptive environments. This dynamism causes uncertainty in the future, leading to increased risk, so models or tools for mitigating risk are crucial. In this presentation, I will outline 3 models for planning and executing strategy, discuss 2 of the main approaches to strategy formation, then show how you can use these tools to manage strategically into the future. The first model that we'll look at is the Ansoff matrix. This tool helps business leaders visualize their product and marketing strategies, determine if their company is using those strategies effectively, and to create or modify strategies to fit a target market. The Ansoff matrix works well when defining your company's strategic positioning and determining risks associated with your various strategic initiatives. In the figure on the left, the top row denotes the strategies you can use within the bounds of your own market, while the bottom row contains strategies to break into unfamiliar markets. The left column is for strategies surrounding your current products, whereas the right column shows strategies for creating new products. The market penetration quadrant has strategies for increasing market share and organizational growth through selling your current products or services to your current market more effectively. This can involve better advertising, lower prices, cutting costs, or merging with a competitor. This is the style of strategy with the least associated risk. Moving down, market development is the strategy of entering new markets with your current products. This strategy is associated with more risk compared to market penetration because of the increased uncertainty related to new consumers. Strategies in this quadrant include sales by branching out with advertising focused on unreached customers, moving into new geographical areas, or marketing your product as a substitute for products in a different market. In the top right, product development consists of creating new products with your current market. This quadrant revolves around increasing sales and market share by introducing products that your customer base values. For example, a mobile phone company could expand its product line to include wearable tech, introduce new and updated models, improve the overall quality of its existing product lines, or create a brand new type of device entirely. Overall, this strategy is associated with more risk than those previously mentioned due to the cost of research and development combined with the uncertainty of consumer response. Lastly, in the bottom right, the quadrant associated with the most risk is diversification due to the combined uncertainty of new consumers with the increased cost of development. This strategy involves moving into an entirely new market with products you do not currently sell. An example of the strategy in action is when Apple successfully entered the music hardware industry with the iPod in 2001, and then the mobile phone industry in 2007 with the first iPhone. Diversification could also include expanding internationally with products designed specifically for consumers in those countries. The Ansoff matrix is especially helpful because it makes you think about each quadrant separately, which can help you see faults or strengths more clearly. Using this matrix to evaluate your product and marketing development can help you clear the uncertainty surrounding the implementation of new initiatives reduce the risk associated with each venture, and increase the accuracy of your strategies. Another tool you can use to manage strategically is Porter's 5 Forces. Michael Porter originally introduced this framework in a 1979 Harvard Business Review article where he laid out a new method of looking at competition in an industry. He stated that each force in this model should be considered a competitor for profitability. Also, every industry is different, and business leaders need to be aware of how each force affects their potential for success in the future. Using Porter's 5 Forces is a great way to step back and look at your market or industry from a big picture perspective, looking at all the influences that can affect how your company sells and markets its product or services. The first force that Porter describes is the existing competition between your business and others currently in your industry. Your rivalry in the industry may be mild or extreme. The intensity of competition between rivals affects how well you are able to hold on to or grow in market share, and how much work you need to put into marketing. The next force on the bottom is the threat of products or services that can be substituted for your own. If consumers can replace your product easily, you may have customers leave your market to pursue alternatives. One thing I think about in this area is the telecommunications industry in the 2000s. When mobile phones became more widespread, they proved to be an excellent substitute for landlines instead of only being used on the go. People left conventional home telephone companies in favor of having a cell phone. The same goes for streaming media companies in the cable television industry. Then on the left, we have suppliers' bargaining power. Porter said that suppliers have an increased capacity to enforce higher prices or stricter terms on your company if there are fewer alternative suppliers, or the items they are supplying are challenging to create or acquire. On the other hand, if you have many options for sourcing your items, you may be able to attain more lenient terms or discounts from suppliers due to the threat of competition. On the top of the diagram is the threat of new entrants. Porter said that industries with very few barriers to entry are inherently less profitable than those with greater difficulty. He cites the airline industry specifically, where all a company has to do to enter the market is lease a plane and a gate at an airport, then begin with flights between two major traffic hubs. These new entrants into the industry threaten to dilute the market, making it harder to hold on to market share. Lastly, we have buyer power. You need customers to purchase your goods or services. Porter pointed out that consumers impose heavy pressures to lower prices and increase features or amenities in some industries. On the other hand, there are industries like healthcare where buyers have very little say in terms of cost or offering. This force, just like the other 4 forces, changes based on the status of all of the others. For example, customers gain bargaining power when new companies enter a market or offer substitute products. If the market loses competitors, customers are left with very few options to purchase from, which weakens their negotiating power. The practice of using Porter's 5 Forces can help businesses determine the major drivers to profitability in their industry by examining the relationship between competitive forces. By learning the power balance between forces, companies can make more informed decisions on whether they want to remain in their market or enter a new one. Leaders can weigh the options of renegotiating pricing or terms with buyers and suppliers because they have a better understanding of their opportunities and risks. Next, a balanced scorecard is a great tool when developing and implementing initiatives based on strategies created by corporate leaders. Kaplan described that the scorecard helps to create a clear flow from strategy and vision to short-term goals, then metrics for measuring progress, targets for the company to aim at, and finally the initiatives that help them meet those goals. The benefits of this tool include a transparent process for communicating strategy to your employees with justifications for project implementation and clear measures of their success. Also, this tool assures that non-financial performance is included and creates a means of measuring intangible products like employee satisfaction through quantifiable key performance indicators. As seen in the figure on the left, There are 4 sections of the scorecard: financial, customer, internal business process, and learning and growth. The section at the bottom of the figure, learning and growth, involves human resource initiatives like employee morale, increased staff education, and a more cohesive work environment. If the company can progress in this section, employees will be more capable and willing to support improvements in the next section on the right. Internal business processes are objectives, measures, initiatives that businesses can implement to make the company function more effectively. This includes increasing the quality or number of products, decreasing delays, or increasing efficiency. The learning and growth improvements make this section more successful, and in turn, creating internal process growth allows a company to perform better at pleasing its customers. That brings us to the left of the diagram. Kaplan showed that the customer division includes goals, metrics, and initiatives relating to customer satisfaction, retention, value, and brand image. This section is critical to focus on because your business would not survive without the customers there to purchase from you. Financial growth is more likely if you can learn how to satisfy and attract more customers. At the top of the diagram, the financial section deals with pleasing your shareholders through economic growth, such as revenue, income, and expense improvements. This is where most businesses measure their progress, but the balanced scorecard allows us to view each section with equal value. If you can logically trace the progress from success in learning and growth to financial growth and vice versa, the business's strategies should be successful. If the quadrants do not have a logical connection to each other, the organization must reconsider its strategy, goals, and initiatives. Now, in addition to the previously mentioned strategic models, there are competing perspectives that a company can use to determine how they form strategy. There are 2 main ideologies in this area: the deliberate and rational approach and the emergent approach to strategy formation. The deliberate and rational approach follows a top-down perspective where corporate leaders determine vision, then create strategy using clearly defined models and evidence gathered through studying their market. Then that strategy is disseminated throughout the organization where lower-ranking managers and frontline employees carry it out. Benefits of this approach are a clearly defined process that can be systematically followed, decisions backed by data and evidence that can be helpful to clear uncertainty, and the assurance that overall strategy is formed by those who created the vision. Downsides to this approach are that strategy creation can be a lengthy process, and once created, cannot pivot quickly to meet challenges encountered in highly disruptive environments. The emergent approach to strategy formation is defined by the belief that strategy executors should be heavily involved in strategy creation, and that strategy should include lessons learned by those with frontline experience. This approach is bottom up, with vision created by business leaders, but strategies created in the spur of the moment in reaction to the current market environment, only to be approved by leadership after the fact. Benefits to this approach include its flexibility, never being held to one path alone, which makes reacting to emerging threats much more expedient. Also, as this approach relies on workers' first-hand experiences, some uncertainty is managed. Downsides to this approach are that corporate vision can be lost if it is not heavily emphasized throughout the organization. Also, due to the nature of emergent strategy being implemented before senior leadership's approval, top management loses some control over business processes. The strategic management tools and approaches mentioned in this presentation each fulfill different purposes for an organization. Where the Ansoff matrix is focused on products and markets, Porter's 5 forces is focused on external power balances, and the balanced scorecard is largely focused on creating internal improvements to please stakeholders. Businesses can use these tools in conjunction with one another to evaluate and plan for the future more successfully. For example, organizational leaders can perform an Ansoff matrix analysis to assess their product and marketing strategy, utilize Porter's 5 forces to anticipate external factors affecting their strategy, then incorporate a balanced scorecard to plan initiatives and monitor their effectiveness. By using more than one approach, you can anticipate disruptions with greater success. Additionally, when considering the overall approach to strategy formation, you are not held to one method or the other. A hybrid between a deliberate approach and an emergent approach can be used, where strategy is created by leadership and delegated to more junior staff, but with the allowance for changes if necessary to combat disruptive forces. The future of any market or industry is not set in stone, so strategic thinking, creation, and management will continue to be of utmost importance. The type and level of disruption or uncertainty affecting your business will indicate which models and approaches to strategy management you choose, but the need for effective strategies will always be present. Thank you for listening to this overview of strategic management in dynamic environments. I will leave my references up for a few moments in case you would like to reference them. Have a great day.